Okay, let me introduce myself. I am Rajan Mahmood, Assistant Teacher English, Daripur Secondary School, Mujibnagar. At first, I would like to thank our Honorable DEO sir, who has, along with his team member, taken this effective step for online class during this pandemic. I would also like to thank those who are working with Meherpur online class, those who are leading from the front as well as those who are working behind the scene. Actually, I have been taking online classes for last 3 months, but this is the first class in Meherpur, and before it I regularly take class in Khulna Online School, that is our divisional online school, and I am really happy that we have got our own school in Meherpur, that is Meherpur online class. So let's get started. At first I will show you a video. If you can't hear the sound, no problem, I will just show you the video. Just watch it because there will be some subtitles. If you can, just have a look at it. Okay, look at it very carefully.
In the fall, my friends and I like to pick apples.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
It is. I love cool weather.
Let's get some of these apples. They're good in apple pie, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And we tried that kind over there last year too. They were delicious, weren't they?
Yes, let's get that kind too.
Okay, I hope that you have watched it. There were two friends talking. I have just picked 2 lines from their conversation and I will just write it down on the board. Just have a look at the board. One said, "It's a beautiful day." It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Another one said, "They were delicious, weren't they?" So you can see after this statement there is a short question, isn't it? So one said, "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" And they were delicious. I mean, they were talking about the apples they were picking. They were delicious, weren't they? So dear students, I hope that you can guess what I am going to teach you today. Yes. So today's lesson is about tag questions. It's for class 9 and 10. I have selected this topic because I think that we can complete this tag questions within one class, and the next class will be solving some board questions. So within one class you will know all about tag questions. Stay with me and just watch. If you have any questions, then you can write it down either in Bangla or English in the comment box in our live class. Lesson objectives, I mean learning outcomes. At the end of this lesson, we will learn how to use contraction of verbs, I mean short form of verbs. Then we will also learn the rules of tag questions. Then we will also learn how to apply the rules in a context, I mean in a passage or in a sentences. So dear student, have a look at this picture once again. What can you see? Here you can see this one is a fox and this one is a crow. Yes, this crow was actually is holding a piece of meat in its beak. Okay, in case of human being, I mean we can say that lips, but it since it's a bird, it will be big. So it is holding a piece of meat in its beak. So yes, it's a story about a fox and a crow. It's a story about fox and a crow, and we all know the story. Here we know that fox is a very cunning, I mean a very clever animal. So fox actually persuaded. Do you know the meaning of persuade? In Bangla we say potano. Okay, so the fox persuaded the crow so that he could have the meat from the crow. So the fox was trying to get the meat from the piece of meat from the crow, and that is why he was falsely praising means একেবারে মিথ্যাভাবে অনেক প্রশংসা করা আর কি, falsely praising the crow. So what did he say? Let's have a look at. You are the most beautiful bird in the world, aren't you? So the fox was saying that you are the most beautiful bird in the world, aren't you? And the next one is, you have nice feathers, haven't you? So the fox was saying you have nice feather, but it doesn't have actually. Okay, so you have nice feather, haven't you? Then another statement, another thing the fox said, you have a sweet voice, haven't you? So all these are false praise, সব মিথ্যা প্রশংসা. What is the purpose? What was the purpose actually? To get the meat from the crow. And the next line you see, but you can't sing. I mean the fox was saying you can't sing. Can you? So here you can see I have added this short question and each statement, and this is called tag questions. And now if we want to define, okay, give a definition of tag questions. So how will you give that one? We'll say tag questions in English, tag question is a special structure where we find a short question at the end of a statement. Okay, or we can say, just listen very carefully, we can say tag question is a question that is attached or tagged. Attached means লেগে থাকা. Tagged means লেগে থাকা. That is attached or tagged at the end of a statement, like this. You are the most beautiful bird in the world. This is a statement. At the end of this statement, aren't you? This is an attachment, a short attachment of short questions. Okay. So why do we use tag questions? I hope that those who are watching me, you can hear me, can't you? So you see that I have already used a tag question here. So I have said, I hope that you can hear me properly, can't you? So let me explain here. So what I have said, I said you can hear me properly. You can hear me properly. So তোমরা ঠিকঠাক আমাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছ, can't you? So I have said this one, okay, right? So why I have used this can't you? Can't you to make sure whether you can hear me or not. So we use tag questions to make sure whether the listener, I mean যে শুনছে, the listener to get the confirmation আসলে সবকিছু ঠিক আছে কিনা বা ভুল হয়েছে কিনা. Okay, I hope that is okay. Now we'll jump into the rules. During this coronavirus, okay, people are staying at home and some people are working from home, like me. I am a teacher and I am teaching from home. So there are lots of people who are working from home, so they are staying at home. But there are lots of people, I am telling you, there are lots of people, they are not following the instruction. In our Meherpur, the number of COVID-19 victims are increasing day by day. So a piece of advice, don't carelessly move here and there. Okay, that is my advice, a piece of advice. Okay, so here you can see people are staying at home, aren't they? So people are staying home, aren't they? So here this one is an auxiliary verb, or you can say helping verb. After the helping verb there is a verb. So this one is a tag question. What we have done, we have just written the negative form of are, this auxiliary or helping verb, and we have also used the pronoun of the subject. So we must be very careful that we need to use the pronoun of the subject. Here people more than one, then that is why we have used they, and this one is an auxiliary verb, are, it should be aren't. See another example. The man is very sick. The man is very sick. So this is a positive statement. The verb is here is, and it will be negative definitely. If it is negative, positive, it will be negative. So isn't it? And since a man is not a woman, we won't use she, we will use a he. So we need to know how to form the contraction. Okay, how to form contraction, short form of verbs. I will show you that. Here contraction, short form, how you see here there is a list of contracted form of verb. Just have a look at the board how we have done this one. So suppose this one is haven't, like have plus not, it should be haven't. So what we have done, we have just removed this O, and in the place of O I have just added an apostrophe. This one is an apostrophe. So we will use no, N and T, but we will avoid, we will just remove O, and in the place of O we will use this apostrophe. In Bangla grammar there is a punctuation mark which we call lop chinno. What does lop chinno do? Actually this apostrophe or lop chinno actually vanishes a letter or more than one letter, that we will see. Here we can see am not, it should be aren't or ain't. You can use either this one, okay, either of this. Haven't, have not, haven't, did not, didn't, does not, doesn't. I just don't want to read it out. You can have it in your book, you will get it. But there are some verbs that I have made it rate. So this one is amn't, because most of the student make mistake. Most of the student in our local area, okay, those who are advanced they don't, but in our local area they may make mistake, and that is why I have just made right. Am not, it should be aren't or ain't. You can use either of this. Then cannot, it should be can't. So not can't, okay, it should be can't. Another one is will not, it would be won't. Then may and might not, it's very bit confusing. May and might not, you must use mightn't. Okay, if it is may in the statement, you must use mightn't in the tag questions. Don't forget this one. Shall not, it would be shan't. So we have, I hope that you have got the idea about contraction, the short form using apostrophe or lop chinno. Then we will learn the rules of assertive sentences. The first sentence you see, sometimes we make mistake, is a present simple or we can say present indefinite, that you say the verb is may. The verb is may. So we will use since this is a positive, it will be a negative. In present tense, whenever we use the negative form, we will use do not or does not, that is don't or doesn't. So here, since it's a plural, it will be don't, and we have used this we because this is a pronoun. Since the subject is pronoun we, so we don't need to change it. See another example. He is not healthy. He is not healthy. So is he? So since it's a positive, we have made it negative. Since it's a negative, we have made it positive. Remember, there are two tenses. That we should remember, because in the statement, in a positive statement, we won't find the negative form. So we need to make it. So I'm telling you in Bangla, present এবং past simple, যেটা তোমরাকে বলা হচ্ছে indefinite, সেক্ষেত্রে আমরা হচ্ছে do not বা does not ব্যবহার করব present simple এর ক্ষেত্রে, because in the statement it won't be mentioned. যদি affirmative এ থাকে, statement এ থাকে, এটা মেনশন করা থাকবে না. And in the past we will use didn't, and it won't be mentioned as well, এটাও থাকবে না. In other sentences we will find the auxiliary verb in the statement, so we don't need to bother about that. So we have got another two groups of verbs you must be careful about. One is to be verb, to have verb. To be verb, to have verb. I hope that you know about to be verb and have verb. Okay, however, I will explain on the board why we are calling this auxiliary verb as a be verb. You see here. So who is watching? Okay, Tahmid Yusha is watching. So I'm using Tahmid Yusha. Tahmid. I'm so sorry whether this pronunciation is correct or not. I should say, okay, Tahmid. Tahmid is a student. Tahmid is a student. If you see here, this one, there is no principal verb after this, I mean the main verb, and the next one is he is studying. Suppose he's studying, since he is attending online class, he is studying now. So here you can see there is a verb, auxiliary verb, and there is main verb. When there won't be any main verb, this auxiliary verb will act as principal verb. Let me give an example for your better understanding. In your school, there is headmaster and assistant headmaster or assistant head teacher. তোমাদের স্কুলে head teacher আছে, assistant head teacher আছে. When your head teacher is absent, who will take the charge of the head teacher? কে head teacher এর চার্জটা নেয়? Yes, the assistant head teacher. So assistant head teacher becomes head teacher for that day or for those days. সেই দিনগুলোর জন্য তিনি head teacher হয়ে যান. So here auxiliary verbs actually takes the position of main verb. In that moment we can say this is we verb, and we have got have verb. This is the base form, this is the past form, and this is the past participle, I mean verb 3. I will move forward. Rules of imperative sentence. Even though the modern grammarian don't regard this one as an imperative sentence, they regard it as a declarative sentence. I won't go there. So imperative sentence is start with a verb. We know that. Okay, you see here, close the window. The teacher is saying close the window. The teacher is saying, the teacher is saying close the window. So won't you, this is a positive statement, it will be negative. Now you might ask, sir, why we have used you? You might ask, তোমরা জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারো, স্যার ইউটা ব্যবহার করলাম কেন? Because we use imperative sentence when the listener is present. Suppose I am talking to you, so I will be saying you, not he or she. Okay, so আমি আসলে তোমাদের সাথে কথা বলছি, ঠিক না? I'm talking to you, so it would be you, and that is why we will use this you. So since this one is a positive, it will be negative, won't you, and since it is a negative one, it will be a positive one. So won't you and will you. So if you have got any question, then you can ask me. People are watching, but you can ask me any questions that you have got regarding this item. Then we'll go further. Here during this pandemic, we have been instructed to follow the rules of social distancing. Okay, আমাদেরকে ইনস্ট্রাকশন দেওয়া হয়েছে যে সোশ্যাল ডিস্টেন্সটা মেনটেন করবেন, সকলকে বলা হচ্ছে, বাট উই আর নট ফলোয়িং, অ্যান্ড দ্যাট ইজ ওয়াই I have said the number of victims are increasing in Meherpur, বেশি হয়ে যাচ্ছে, so don't do that. Okay, maintain social distance. Let us so we can say together, let us maintain social distance. So this let us, it is not let is, it is let us. Okay, this is the short form of let us is let's, the short form of. So here this is we, this is us, and the subject will be we. Let us maintain social distance. It will be shall we, and then we have got let him. If there is no us, if there is him or her or them, then we will use will you. Directly we will use will you. We don't need to consider about the subject. We will just simply use will you. There won't be any won't you. Okay, there won't be any shan't we. Okay, so we don't need to use. So these are the most frequently used 4 type of comparative sentence in the tag questions. So if you learn these are sufficient, but I'm going to give you something more, two more rules, and which are not very common. And why it is not common? Because these are very confusing, because we can't understand whether the speaker is angry or unhappy within the one sentence. একটা ব্যাপার আছে, আমরা কিন্তু বুঝতে পারি না যে স্পিকারটা আসলে তার মনোভাবটা কি. So however, if you find please starting of a imperative sentence, you can say it's a kind of request. So any imperative sentence conveys or means conveys the meaning of requesting. The meaning of requesting মানে রিকোয়েস্টের মিনিং অর্থ করে অনুরোধ বোঝাবে. That moment you will just use can you. So the boy's mother is leaving, and the boy requests her mother that please don't leave me alone, mother. Can you? And when an imperative sentence actually refers to the anger of the speaker, মানে স্পিকার হচ্ছে খুব রেগে গেছে, and that moment you can use can't you. Directly you use can't you. Now the problem is we can't understand the difference, and that moment you can follow the previous rules. Okay, and we won't get this rules in your exam. So if you want, then you can avoid those who want, but I have just included so that you can learn. Now exclamatory sentence. What happens in case of exclamatory sentence? You see the picture of Cox's Bazar. How beautiful the sea beach is. Isn't it? Why we have used isn't is because this is in a way is an assertive. Okay, this is a kind of assertion. Okay, but exclamation, there is a note of exclamation. You see here is, so it would be isn't, the negative one, and the sea beach is a place, so it would be it. So isn't it. If in any exclamatory sentence you find there is no subject, no verb, you will use just simply isn't it. You see, what a pity, there is no subject and verb, so it should be isn't it. Very nice, it should be isn't it. You just write down isn't it. You don't need to bother about other thing because it's a rule, because there is no subject, no verb. So we have learned the sentence based tag questions. Now we will learn word based. Why I'm telling you word based? Because the single word will change, the change of tag question depends on the single word, and that is why I'm telling you these are the word based. আমি এগুলোকে ওয়ার্ড বেস বলতেছি কারণ হচ্ছে এই সিঙ্গেল ওয়ার্ডটাই হচ্ছে কি ট্যাগ কোয়েশ্চেনটাকে ডিফাইন করবে। ওকে, সো দ্যাট ইজ ওয়াই I have said it. So if you find any non-person, in the statement, you will use it. Okay, you will use it because you see here the garden is beautiful. So garden is non-person. Okay, it's a place, so it would be is, and since we know that if it is positive it would be negative, so isn't it. But sometimes noun may refer to both gender. Okay, sometimes I'm repeating. Okay, I repeat that sometimes a noun can refer both gender. If I say my sister is blessed with a baby, আমার বোন একটি কি সন্তান হয়েছে, বোনের সন্তান আশীর্বাদ পুষ্ট হয়েছে, সৃষ্টিকর্তা সন্তান দিয়েছে। So you don't know whether she is, the baby is, he or she, আমরা জানি না কিন্তু। ওকে, we don't know that, and that is why we will use they. That is why we will use they, like the teachers. Okay, the teachers, you don't know whether the teacher is male or female, and that moment you will use they. And the birds are flying, aren't they? I'm sorry, but this is another rules. I'm sorry. It should be if the non-person is plural, it should be they. It should be they. I'm sorry because I have explained something else. আমি অন্য একটি ব্যাখ্যা করে ফেলেছি। Forget about that one. That rules comes later. এখানে একটু just have a look at this. They, it should be, if there is plural, it should be they. If any statement start with nothing, anything, everything, with a thing, জিনিস বোঝাবে, okay, then that moment we use just isn't. If it is positive it will be isn't, and if it is negative it will be is it. Now you see here nothing itself is a negative. Nothing নিজে হচ্ছে কি negative, so it will be positive. The statement will be positive, so we will use is and nothing instead of, we will use the pronoun it, and since it is a negative we will just is, not isn't. Here are some others. These are the also pronoun. Okay, now none, everyone, no one, nobody, somebody, anybody, everybody, everyone. It refers to the person. Now those who are watching me, I have got 9 people. Okay, so everyone is present. Suppose I am telling that everyone is present, so I am not telling that only one student is present, but I am telling all. I am referring to all. আমি কিন্তু একজনকে বোঝাচ্ছি না, আমি সকলকে বোঝাচ্ছি। এখানে 9 জন আছে বাট সকলকে বোঝাচ্ছি। So that is why the pronoun will be plural, and it must be they. Now the mistake that you people make, that you follow this verb. Okay, whenever we will use none, everyone, nobody, somebody, anybody, we will use the verb of third person singular number. But remember, when we use they, the verb will be according to the pronoun. So they, not wasn't, it should be they weren't. So don't use they wasn't, and most of the cases we do it. Okay, because I check copies and I find a lot of students make mistake in this part. I am warning you, just make sure the plural, the pronoun টাকে দেখো whether this is a singular or plural, then use the verb. Okay, and no one, I have said this red color are negative words, so no one was present in the class. So were they? Because since this is a negative, no one is a negative, so we don't use weren't, we don't use the negative form of the verb. Okay, so it would be were they. Since we know that no, if there is these words, we will use they. If you have got any question, you can ask me. Shafiqul Alam, you have said okay, so thank you very much for your appreciation, and keep us following. We'll move forward. The next one is neither of, either of, all of, plus you, us, them. If any sentence statement start with this neither of, either of, all of, plus you, us, and them, okay, we will use you, we, and they as a pronoun. Like the first, if there is you, then we will you. If there is us, then we will use we. If there is them, then we will use they. Either of you can go, can't you? So তোমাদের যে কেউ যেতে পারো, can't you? So because can is the modal verb, we will can't, and either of you, since either of you, here we will use you as a pronoun. The next one is really important. Because we make mistake here. The plus adjective actually refers to the whole group. Okay, now see an example here. It's a very common example, and that is why I have included here for your better understanding. The rich are not always happy. So what does the sentence mean? The rich are not always happy. What does the sentence mean? It means ধনীরা হচ্ছে কি সব সময় সুখী না। ধনীরা, not one rich person. I am not telling one person. Like the rich man, I haven't used this one. The rich man. If there is any noun, then that will be, I mean, you need to use that one. I mean, you need to use pronoun according to the noun. Okay. Since there is no noun, the plus adjective refers to the whole group. Okay, whole group of people. The rich, গরিবেরা, the lame, খোড়ারা, okay, the blind, অন্ধরা, okay, so the privileged one, privileged মানে যারা সুবিধাভোগী, okay, so the plus adjective refers to the whole group, and that is why we have used they. The young are not always hopeless. I really like this one because the young are not always hopeless. Okay, যুবকেরা সবসময় হতাশ না. So this one is negative, so we will use first we will use they pronoun, okay, and then since it is a negative, it will be positive. If any sentence, a statement contains one as a subject, then the pronoun will be one. Like one should respect one's parent. Shouldn't one? One should respect one's parents. Shouldn't one? Because should is a positive one, it would be negative, and one, since the subject is one, it will be one. And if there is there, then you will use there. Okay, okay, if there is there, then you will use there. There থাকলে there ব্যবহার করবে. Okay, so there are many problems, aren't there? So aren't, because this is a positive, it is a negative of aren't, and there is there, so it will be there. Now the last rules based on the word, that no / every plus noun. If any sentence start with this one, and I have given this explanation before. Okay, mistakenly I given this explanation of this rules. এই রুলটা ওখানে দেওয়া হয়ে গেছিল. You see here, if noun is present, then if we can identify, then we will use he or she. It will be male or female. If it doesn't refer to any gender, we will use they. Every son respects his parents. So son is male, so it should be doesn't he. It should be doesn't he. And every baby is innocent. Now baby we don't know whether the baby is a boy or girl, so we will use they since it's a rule. Okay, so we will use they. So they and they followed by aren't. It shouldn't be, it should not be is, it shouldn't be, it mustn't be is, because they plural, and that is why it would be aren't. If you say that every baby was present, every baby was present, so it should be they weren't they. You must remember the tense as well. Now the complex structure. In case of complex structure, what we will do, complex er khetre what we will do, we will just follow the independent clause. Okay, let me give you an example in an easy sentence. I don't want to use this sentence, but since you like it, like if you come, I will go. This is a example of this is an example of complex sentence. Here, if you come, if I stop here, যদি তুমি আসো, if I stop here, it doesn't make any sense. So we need the next portion, and this next portion, I mean the next part is independent clause. If I just remove this one, I will go. Yes, this makes a complete sense, and that is why I will just make tag question of this. Won't I? So here he might get sick if he moves here and there. সে যদি এদিক ওদিক ঘুরে বেড়ায় তাহলে সে কিন্তু sick হয়ে যেতে পারে, অসুস্থ হয়ে যেতে পারে. So mightn't he, not this one. Then is I think, I believe, I suppose. If a statement start with if a sentence start with I think, I believe, I suppose, then we will just use the tag question of the next part. Like I believe this is the first part, this is the second part of the sentence. There will be a cure for COVID-19 soon. I believe. We all pray to Almighty, okay, so that we can get a cure for COVID-19 soon. বলছি যে আমার বিশ্বাস যে আমরা COVID-19 এর একটি কিওর পাবো. সো won't there because I need to change, I need to use the tag question of the next part. Okay, so the next one is few, little, nothing, none, no one, nobody, neither of, seldom, hardly. All these words are negative words. So if you find any sentence containing these words, I mean if you find this word in any sentence, you will use the positive form, I mean not the negative, positive form of auxiliary verb. During this pandemic, এই মহামারীর সময়, he hardly goes outside. সে কদাচিৎ বাইরে না যায় বললেই চলে. Okay, so hardly is a negative word, so we will use does because it's a present tense. Okay, present simple tense, or you can say present indefinite, and that is why it will be does, and the subject is he. I hope that you have got the idea. And these are really confusing. Okay, abstract idea that you cannot touch, you can just understand it, can understand it. Just have a look at this. The mother rose in her, this is in the past, didn't eat. So why I have used it? Because this is an abstract idea. Mother rose in her, মাতৃত্ববোধ, here it will be motherhood, not mother. Actually the meaning will be motherhood. মাতৃত্ববোধ তার মধ্যে জেগে উঠেছিল. ওকে, তার মধ্যে আবার আরেকটা মা জেগে ওঠেনি আর কি, হ্যাঁ, মাতৃত্ববোধ জেগে উঠেছিল. দ্যাট ইজ ওয়াই it's an idea, it's a concept, and that is why we have used it. So if I say that father rose in him, তার মধ্যে পিতৃত্ববোধ জেগে উঠেছিল, in that moment we can say didn't it. Now confusing modal verb. These are confusing modal verb because we use this verb as a main verb, and these are called semi-modals. You don't need to know that. Okay, since it is a modal verb, after that there will be a verb, there will be another verb. Okay, so people need not to go out frequently. So need they, because this need not is auxiliary, modal auxiliary plus not. So this one is a negative, it will be positive, and people, we know that they, it should be they. I dare not tell him the truth. আমার সাহস নেই তাকে সত্য কথাটি বলার, ঠিক আছে, সাহস করতে পারছি না। So here is a modal verb, so it would be dare, and I is a subject, the pronoun will be I. So we have already finished the tag questions, and I told you that within one class we'll be able to finish the whole item of tag questions. Those who will be watching later, or those who are watching, you can write down anything about this topic, anything that you want to know. যা কিছু আছে যদি জানতে চাও এই টপিক নিয়ে, just write it down in the comment box. I will definitely reply. আমি অবশ্যই তোমাদের রিপ্লাই দিব। ক্লাসটি just those who will be watching later, my request to you, just go through from the first to last, and I hope you will understand the whole, all the rules of tag question. There is not a single rule that I haven't included here. Okay, these are the common one. There are some uncommon ones that I have already included, and I am telling you, listen, you might say that, okay sir, the class would be in Bangla. Okay, I will try to do that one, but my suggestion is that everything is difficult before it is easy. My suggestion is everything is difficult before it is easy. প্রত্যেক জিনিসই হচ্ছে কঠিন সহজ হওয়ার আগে, মানে কোনো কিছু যখন সহজ হয়ে যায় তার আগে ডিফিকাল্ট থাকে। সাপোজ ইউ আর রাইডিং বাইসাইকেল, ওকে, ইনিশিয়ালি ইউ স্ট্যাম্বলড, প্রাথমিকভাবে তুমি কিন্তু পড়ে গেছিলে বাইসাইকেল থেকে যখন তুমি when you are riding. Now you can ride because you have practiced a lot, তুমি অনেক প্র্যাকটিস করেছো। সো ইন কেস অফ ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ লার্নিং, ভাষা শিক্ষার ক্ষেত্রে, ইংরেজি শিক্ষার ক্ষেত্রে, you must try to understand what other people are speaking in English. Okay, so this all about this class. We will do some practices here. So those who are watching me, you can just write down the answer here. We have got 3, 3, 6, then 6, 12 questions. You can write down. She is from a small town in China. Okay, she is from a small town in China. China শহরের মানে চায়নার একটা ছোট্ট শহর থেকে এসেছে, মানে চীনের একটা ছোট্ট শহর থেকে এসেছে। সো ইটস আ বি ভার্ব, সো ইট উড বি isn't it, it would be isn't it, it would be isn't it, because she is. Here you can see it is the short form of she is. It is the short form of she is. She is from a small town in China, so it would be isn't she. The next one is seldom. The meaning of seldom, hardly is kodachit, ekebarei na. So it seldom rains in winter. So শীতের সময় বৃষ্টি একেবারে কি হয় না, হয় বৃষ্টি হয় শীতের সময় না। So it should be the tag question will be positive. It should be does it, because seldom itself is a negative. It would be does it. It would be does it. Then number 3, let's talk to him. Let us, without thinking anything, you will just write down shall we. If any statement starts with this, let us talk to him, it should be shall we. His parents dare face the truth. Dare, there is another verb, face. So this is a main verb, it is auxiliary, so it should be daren't they, because parents is both mother and father. Okay, parents is both mother and father. বাবা মা দুইজনকে বলা হয় পিতা মাতা। Parents, the meaning of parents is pita mata, so pita and father and mother, so it should be they. So daren't they. Julie isn't an accountant. So Julie isn't an accountant. Since it is a negative, it will be positive. Is she? Okay, so Julie isn't an accountant. Is she? The weather is really bad today. So is a positive, and weather we will use weather বলতে কি বোঝায়? আবহাওয়া বোঝায়. So it will be it. So isn't it? Because it's a positive. Now here you see, I hardly like pizza. People say that pizza. In English we don't say pizza, it should be pizza. So I hardly like pizza. So hardly is a negative word, so it would be don't I, because this is a present simple tense. I hardly like pizza. So don't I. Do I, sorry. It would be do I, because hardly is a negative word. It would be do, since it is a present simple যেহেতু আছে এখানে do হবে, যেহেতু সাবজেক্ট আছে do I. She works in a hotel is a present simple, so does she? It won't be does she, it would be doesn't she. The next one, we need not hurry, আমাদের দ্রুত করার দরকার নেই. So hurry here is a main verb, so need we. And the next one is nothing is more valuable than human life. So nothing is more valuable than human life. কোনো কিছুই মানুষের জীবনের মূল্যের চেয়ে বেশি কিছু না. So nothing is a negative word. It would be is it thing. Since it is thing, then we will use it, and since it's a negative, we will use is. So is it. Everyone is in the state of terrible fear. প্রত্যেকে একটি ভয়ের মধ্যে রয়েছে. We know that if any statement starts with everyone, nobody, no one, somebody, anybody, then we will use they. Without any thinking, we will use they. I just want to write it down because most of you make mistake here. I have explained, but this is once again I want to explain it. Everyone is in the state of fear. Everyone is in the state of fear. So here you can see we will use pronoun according to the subject. So if there is an everyone, we will use they. Now since it's a plural, we won't use this, but you sometimes just write down isn't they. It won't be isn't they, it would be aren't they. Okay, so if I say that everyone was in the state of horror, state of horror or fear. Okay, so প্রত্যেকে হচ্ছে খুব ভয়ের মধ্যে ছিল. Okay, so we can use that moment, we can use weren't, since it is was. We will use the be verb according to the pronoun. And the last one is once she liked spicy food. এক সময় সে হচ্ছে কি spicy food ভালোবাসতো, মানে মশলা জাতীয় খাবার. But nowadays she doesn't. So liked, it is a past simple, it would be didn't she. So dear students, dear learners, and dear viewers, those who are watching, if you have got any question regarding this topic, you can just write it down in a comment. I will definitely reply your comments. Whatever the comment is, I will definitely reply. And now take a homework if you can do it, or just do it at home, because the next day we will be solving the board questions. If you just go through this, you will have some ideas, and the next class you will be able to ask me questions. Your homework is board question from 2017 to 2019. board question করতে হবে 2017 থেকে 2019 সাল পর্যন্ত. Next class we will be solving the board question here, and if you have got any problem, then that will be solved ইনশাআল্লাহ। হ্যাঁ, তোমাদের যদি কোনো প্রবলেম থাকে তাহলে সেগুলোকে সলভ হয়ে যাবে। উই উইল লার্ন টুগেদার, ওকে? So this all for today. I would say stay at home, stay safe, don't move carelessly here and there during this time, because your life is valuable to your family, to your friends, and to everyone, okay? So stay at home, stay safe, pray for all human beings so that we can overcome this problem, and we hope inshallah we will enter the real classroom very soon. Thank you very much for watching me. This is all for today. Allah Hafiz.